Greetings and welcome to another episode of Pop's Collection. I'm Ron Tweedy, joining me as Pops, and today we're going to be talking about the third episode in the Ms. Marvel series, Destined.
That is correct. Episode 3. Now, if this was a TV series on a regular channel, I would probably call this the mid-season finale.
Sure.
Well, I have to tell our listeners that this episode was pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, very
probably
good.
Best so far, I would say.
Yeah.
As far as the excitement level.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm going to say that, mid-season.
Sure.
Glad you're all with us today. Hope you got your coffee. I got mine. I need it today. Because it's been one of those days. It's been one of those weeks.
Yeah.
Which we all have from time to time. So you got your coffee. I got mine.
Yep.
I guess we're destined to have coffee in this episode, but I'm bummed. That was awful. We are coming to you from my newest computer, and I have to say, Ron, you look a lot clearer now to me.
Yeah, I think your video quality is much better too, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is incredible. And Pops has to say that I had to do some things on my own, figure out how to use the printer on this. I had to figure out how to use the headphones and the mic. So it's all good. Thanks for your help, Ron, on the mic thing.
Sure.
We learned that this lady that she's been seeing in her visions, what's her name? Najma? Or Najma?
Najma. Yeah, Najma.
Yeah, something like that. And I guess it's supposed to be Cameron's mom.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess this is their origin story, kind of, in a way, or just their name.
Yeah.
Which at last episode at the end, I said, I was wondering if they were going to be the bad guys. I think we learned definitely in this episode that they are.
Yeah, it's interesting. We have a new faction introduced to us, the Clandestine, also known as the Jinn, and we kind of see them in the situation where they find themselves, or in the 40s in Pakistan, and we kind of get to see the origin of what happens when they found the bangle, found it on in a relic site, which I don't know if you noticed, but I've heard or read somewhere that actually the logo of the 10 rings was at that site. So that kind of bridges some Shang-Chi / Wenwu stuff there.
Yes.
Then the other thing is that they found the bangle on a blue arm. So theoretically, that could be a Kree relic.
Yes.
So
possibly, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious too, because they mentioned something about 2 bands.
Yes.
Or bangles, as they're calling them.
Yeah.
So I think that might be an issue. Maybe there'll be another one. We don't know, really.
Yeah.
But the Jinn.
Yeah.
I'm a Supernatural fan, and the Jinn, for them, were really, really bad guys.
Yeah.
So right away when they said that, I thought, okay, these are definitely the bad guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obviously comes from Muslim folklore, the jinns, and we sometimes anglicize the word as genie. So like the genie in the lamp, it was a jinn. That was the same concept. So we have that. So yeah, basically, demons of some sort, both ways of looking at things. So it's interesting. It does kind of shy away a little bit, actually, from a significant bit of Kamala Khan as a something super scientific happening to her, as opposed to something supernatural that she has in her lineage. Very different than the normal thing. So they're definitely straying away from it, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It makes sense to introduce, other religious concepts as well. I mean, we had, Thor with all the Norse characters and mythology with their, we know from the previews of this new Thor movie coming out soon, that Zeus is in it as well. So we'll have some Greek mythology coming in. So it just makes sense that we'll incorporate some Muslim / Arab mythology too. So
Right, which I thought was kind of interesting that Najma had is trying to tell Kamala that she's one of them.
yeah, well, I mean, she is definitely a descendant of one of them. Aisha was with them. So
Right, that's true. But I kind of thought it was interesting that she was asked. They came from a dimension called the Noor
right.
dimension.
Mhm.
And she's hoping that Kamala can help them get back.
Correct.
And what so now you're giving this teenager these thoughts that, hey, you're not really of this world,
Right.
And you need to help us. And so, of course, she goes to Bruno to see, get some help from him. And
right.
He's saying that, crunching the numbers or whatever he does, that it would be really dangerous as far as what he can see right now, that he was going to look into it some more.
Right. He was looking into a paper that was published by Dr. Selvig from the Thor series. So another connection to the MCU. Again, they're at a point now where there's at least 4 or 5 references to the universe, that 4 or 5 more than were in Moon Knight. So to me already, it's much better way of handling it.
Well, just as I've told you, I recently got some of the Disney Plus shows on DVD.
Yeah.
And I told you there was a lot more clarity.
Sure.
I'm wondering that if and when Moon Knight comes out and I watch that, if I'll be able to have a little bit more clarification, and maybe there are references that we just didn't, they were more subtle and we couldn't pick them out. Maybe. Well, again, I found a lot more things in both the Loki series and Falcon Winter Soldier series that I really didn't catch the first time. So it'll be a wait and see. Who knows? Maybe people will not think it worth putting Moon Knight on DVD, Yeah. All right, so back to the show. She goes to Cameron and she tells Cameron that she needs some more time.
Right.
But Najma doesn't want to wait.
No.
Is that an impatient thing, you think? Or is it she just wants to get it handled and get it over with? I don't know.
I don't think it is a patient thing, because obviously they've already been waiting for 80 years, right? So what's a couple more days? So it's definitely not that. I think she's well aware of the risks and she's manipulating Kamala to do it anyway, even though it would be very dangerous to do.
Right, because what I'm getting from her is that she really doesn't care about the human race.
Right.
She just wants to get back. And, the story was that they were exiled here.
Yes.
So what was the reason for the exile? We didn't hear that.
Yep.
Is it because they're bad guys to begin with?
Right.
Quite possibly, right?
Yeah, certainly.
Well, anyways, she decides that she doesn't want to wait. So she's going to become a wedding crasher.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which I thought was interesting. I'm not familiar with the customs, And if that is part of their customs, if that's how they do marriages, that's kind of neat in a way.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, he asking the bride and the groom 3 times.
Right.
The same thing kind of reminds me of the end of New Testament gospel, Jesus asking Peter, "Do you
Right.
love me?"
Yeah. Yeah.
3 times, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just wonder
Yeah. Yeah. I
if
mean,
it's kind of a crossover from that.
well, they're both, from the Semitic tradition, right? So,
Yes.
and, there's actually other Jewish stuff. One of the issues of the day, particularly in the first century, was around divorce. They asked Jesus about, can can you get divorced for any reason? And the tradition was at the time that, if the husband said, "I divorce thee, I divorce thee, I divorce thee" 3 times, the divorce is final. So that's kind of the idea, is that, you're asking it 3 times just to make sure, to remove all doubt that this commitment that you're going to make, this covenant, is something that you are committing to. That's why they asked 3 times.
Right. Well, I thought it was nice to actually, that was something that I wasn't aware of, and to
Yeah.
learn about that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Again, I think it's great. Let's just, like I said, let's do the evangelicals next, huh?
Yes, definitely. But you know what was interesting to me, and I don't know if it was a Bollywood thing or the dancing at the wedding. Do you think that that really goes on at the reception like that?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty, normal for, folks
I
that are,
mean, I think it's customary at the reception, there's going to be dancing
of course.
and celebrating,
Yeah.
but I thought it was interesting how that the women had a certain type of dance
Uh-huh.
and the men had a certain type of dance.
Sure.
It wasn't the Macarena,
No,
but
no, it's good.
but I thought it was very, very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And, obviously we can't really speak to how uh, accurate or culturally appropriate it is, but, to me, I think they did it respectfully. I don't think there's any issues there.
Right. It was very entertaining.
Oh yeah,
I have
definitely.
to say.
Yeah, and I did like the cover band that they hired, Brown Jovi, which was
Yes.
it was good, because you had that, and then at the same time there was there's pride in being from New Jersey, just like Bon Jovi is, and so I thought that
Yes.
was cool.
Oh, it was definitely great.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of that going on, and we find next that Cameron
Yep.
is going to be the wedding crasher to tell Kamala,
Yeah, Warner.
warn Kamala and Bruno
Yep.
to get out of there. But
Yep.
that kind of didn't happen. That's when we got this spectacular
Mhm.
fight scene. Now,
Yep.
I'm going to say that I think the special effects in this episode were marginally better than the episode previous.
Agreed. Yeah.
I figured they did it a little bit better.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's because of the action part of it. There was a lot more action in this.
Yeah.
So were we too busy trying to see all this action stuff and not paying as much attention to the special effects, or were they just progressively better? Which I tend to believe that they were a little bit better than the previous episode.
I agree.
So we have this big fight, and Kamala is telling the cooks to get out of the kitchen. They
Right.
don't listen until
Right.
one of the clandestines or gins
Yep.
come in there and start messing up things.
Sure.
There were quite a few of those gins, weren't
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, yes. And I almost had thought like almost like Eternals, but kind of just a little bit of a thought of that, which I don't. Maybe we'll have to watch that movie and see if there's any connection. Which next time we meet, maybe that'll be one we'll do. Or you'll agree to do, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, we'll give it a shot. But in the middle of the fight, Najma grabs the bangle because she thinks she's going to do it.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, we get this vision of a steam locomotive. And then she like breaks free, or she gets knocked away. And that's when we get the DODC coming in to the
Yes,
picture.
damage control, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And they actually captured them all except for Kamala and Bruno, which they got away.
Yep.
They even took Cameron, though, unfortunately.
Yep.
I think he's on Kamala's side, but I guess maybe we'll find that out at a later time. She gets away, and her friend, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember her name. Nakia or something.
Yeah, Nakia. Yeah, that's right.
Nakia. She sees her using her powers, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
You know, you've had this all along, and you know, and she's I don't know whether that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
It kind of, we got that option on either side,
right?
Which was good writing, I think.
Yeah, totally.
But then we kind of end the episode with Sana giving Kamala a call and saying, "Hey, you got to come to Karachi."
Right.
I saw the train too.
Right.
And she's like, "Well, my mom won't let me." And she's, "No, bring your mom too.
Right.
She needs to come too." So
yep.
I think we're going to get a little more family story now.
Yeah, I think so.
Which just, I have to say that this episode really whet my appetite more to see episode 4 than the other episodes so far. So I guess we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
Will we be in Karachi, or I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. And and are the DODC going to be a part of anything? I don't know.
Yeah, hard to say.
Yes, definitely. Okay, well, anything else you want to discuss about this episode?
You know, one scene I did appreciate is that, you know, part of Kamala's development is to, you know, think about, you know, what does it mean to be a hero? You know, the perceptions of her, I guess, persona has been mixed, you know, because you have both the Department of Damage Control trying to chase her and also intimidate folks at the mosque because of it. And then you also have, you know, how she kind of bungled rescuing the boy from the minaret. And, you know, she has this conversation with Sheikh Abdullah, and he says to her that, you know, because she asks the question, I mean, how do I tell people, or how would this new hero tell people that she's good? And he says to her that being good, or, you know, goodness is not something that you are, it's something that you do. And, you know, I think that actually is some pretty good advice, that, you know, that the default position for us as, you know, fallen, sinful nature. And, you know, we can act in ways that are good or bad, but we can do good things, objectively good things, but, you know, we might not necessarily be good or bad people, right? God draws straight lines with crooked sticks all the time. And, you know, I think that's a good thing to remember, is that, you know, it's not necessarily about, you know, your actions are just as important as, you know, who you are, you know.
Yes, who you are on the inside and who you are on the outside. We know that God knows the heart, but the only reflection that humans see is the outside. So it doesn't hurt to portray good, to be good as you can.
Yeah.
Because as you said, there are those that do good but aren't necessarily good. And I'm wondering if doing good can help your frame of mind to help you go down the path to be good.
Sure.
Yeah. So interesting observation. Mm-hmm. And even at the mosque, there were mixed views about the hero.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, good observation. Glad you brought that up. Anything else that you can think of?
That's it for now.
Well, yes. One nice thing for our listeners, these episodes are relatively short.
Yep.
But hopefully, we're hoping that they pique your curiosity to watch this show, Ms. Marvel, because it is really good. And if there's something that you thought about it that you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear from you.
Sure.
So that would be a good thing. And if you disagree with something we said, we'd love to hear from you.
Sure.
Okay. So that's it for now.
All right. Yep. Sounds good. Thank you all.
Episode 4 next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in this week. We'll see you with episode 4 of Ms. Marvel. And until then, goodbye. God bless.
Goodbye. God bless. Tell your friends.